Enlightenment is making oneself a Teflon conduit for any negative energy and an organic sponge for positivity. Don't fight the negative energy. Let it flow through you with no friction. Let that ish go, or it'll poison your soul. But if you can change the causation of the negative, its catalyst, that is the good fight. That is everything. Because it's a smug smirk of confidence, cognitive moral dissonance that can lead an empath down the road of dissociation and depression. It's the apparently randomly selected select few sociopathic extroverts, bullheaded inability to remove themselves from the tribalistic, sadomasochistically endeared social matrix that'll drive a genuinely benevolent introvert crazy. Case in point. Speaking of bulls, has anyone ever noticed that bullying is kind of like playing a game of chicken? If you aren't willing to become either the bull or the chicken, they'll both fight you. Social dynamics. There's no afterlife. There's no nap to the afterlife. There is no indisputable nav to what's right. There is, however, attempts at understanding. Understanding. Nothing scares someone trying to cause anxiety, and another more than to look into their target's eyes and see confident, aware acceptance. Acceptance of both the individual trying to hurt them as well as of their self. It doesn't matter if the attempt is overt, conscious douchebaggery, a subconscious attempted alpha ascension, or a PTSD coping mechanism, delusionally trying to gain control over an untenable past traumatic experience by manipulating someone seen as manipulatable in their present power. Such an ironic concept. Iconic. My personal point there. My bad. That being said, I believe 2018 has developed and emerged into two things: a rational comprehension of reality and two, genuine kindness. And it has solidified the need for a sadomasochistic vacillation, concretized even. The gotcha moment has become the air we breathe. The assimilation into a blindly divisive, tribalistic, in a psychology 101 sense, herd mentality has exponentially intensified. I mean, try to find someone to have a rational discussion with about damn near anything other than sports, TV, or cinema. And within seconds, most will look at you like you're vehemently trying to insult them. And they'll be genuinely insulted. They ain't playing. Because there is nothing we'll fight harder than that which opposes our cognitive dissonance. And since, in my opinion, cognitive dissonance's underpinnings are always dissociative in nature, if you try to discuss something someone doesn't want to think about, which is previously stated is currently damn near anything, their delusion-riddled dissociative-based coping skills of projection will likely rapidly cycle through three stages. 1, belittlement. 2, marginalization. And 3, overt demonization, all with the final hope of ostracization. Society's collective desirousness of silencing inconvenient truths, a sequestering of reality, if you will. Well, if you won't, will, actually, because you know semantics. But I digress, and need to say to a key dress and hard-pressed to address that which causes such woeful systemic stress. If there's ever been a frightening rabbit hole, it's trauma through the lens of dissociation. It's trauma theory through the lens of dissociation. And the only hope for change for that toll at the end of that rabbit hole that's always guarded by trolls, is realizing making designated lanes with solid lines and translucent lies is nothing more than an ego-fueled, not to be repetitive, but sadomasochistic-fueled infinity loop, boopity poop. Race. Oh, there's a race, and we humans are losing the ish out of it. Zuckerberg said a few days before his congressional hearing, and for clarity I'm paraphrasing, what those Russian bots were doing was to a degree meant to impact the outcome of the election. But even more so, isn't there above and beyond absolute agenda, the goal, to disseminate seeds of division? What's the bar none quickest way to be labeled that big crazy? Point out society's crazy. They won't like that, not one bit. And in the amber waves of grain that Obama eloquently articulated as the 500-year American experiment, it's an easy sell. That's CELL for clarity. Ever wonder what Putin's 10-year plan is? I'm guessing it's US, all of us in that cell. That dude gives no S. Sorry, back on tracks, underground. Sooner or later, evolution's gift to humans to lie to ourselves, to not know that which we know, to unsee the seen, and our utter dependency on these gifts will become untenable, at some point inadmissible, because, well, I don't know, psychology and reality recording devices. Because like Will Smith said, this issue's been going on forever, it's just getting recorded now. The network of lies will get us so twisted in an emotional game of passive-aggressive cerebral twister that we won't be able to tell the difference between a colloquial happy ending and a collective extinction level swan song. The question is, what we want to know, does anybody really want to know? What's the moral of the story? The intended takeaway? Pay fast attention to your life's hidden allegory. See what's at stake, stay awake, and embrace the realization that alpha ascension, through a bad joke of being rich or broke, is in reality, in the really real world, the antithesis to woke. Have a good day. Peace.